No, still got power in these hands. Just had to show y'all one
Fuck.
time I could do that there.
Eh, Fucking goof.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen is Dorian Rose. I've been gone a few weeks, man, but just in case you forgot, I am still the reigning, defending pick champ. We didn't make any picks last week, but we didn't make a podcast last week. But the week before, I was that reigning defending pick champ, and I was and still, and I messaged you, and you said it didn't matter. So before we get started with today's show, I just got to throw that out there because we didn't make any picks last week, but we kind of have to talk about, I guess, the fights that I didn't see until later on. But yeah, man, how you
Dude.
been these past 2 weeks while I've been gone, man?
Same old, man. Just been just working and just doing the same thing, keeping up with all the UFC news and like I was saying, this past weekend's card, it was pretty solid overall. A couple of good performances from there, and I was kind of saying that a lot of these cards for the last probably about month or so, the UFC has been hot with a lot of these cards. They've been coming out with a lot of good performances. So and then just even more exciting news this week. So glad to be it was a little weird not having a podcast last week. I'm not gonna lie. Like I ended up I guess we built it into our routine so much now. So like I
Yeah.
was like last Wednesday, I was like, man, there's something I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. But yeah, glad to be back and glad to see you're refreshed. Not as tan as I was anticipating, but
Yeah, I have
tan
been back a
nonetheless.
few days. I have been back a few days now, and to be fair, dude, I did quite well at covering myself with as much sunscreen as possible, dude. Because, dude, it was like no coverage. It was like just straight sun. So your boy had that SPF 50 on a few times per day while I was out there. But I do have a
Applied
video.
applied daily.
Yeah, I do have a video that I did film, I think 2 nights ago, dude, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty tan in this video here, but yeah, dude, just glad to be back. I had a fucking blast. I was on the beaches of Sandals, Jamaica, just a fucking blast out there. I was only there for I guess 4 days, but it seemed like it wasn't long enough, dude. I was just like, I would gladly go back a few more days. But yeah, enough about me. Let's get into what we're going to talk about on today's show. So up first on today's show, I'm just going to let Dorian kind of run down this past weekend's card, give you his thoughts and opinions, live looks, and I'll just kind of feed off of him because I did see the card, but it was late. It wasn't later. I mean, it wasn't late. It was like later on in the day. So that like that wow factor kind of like fucking disappears. So I wasn't really too intense watching it. So I'm gonna let him kind of talk about that, and then I'll just give him my points and takeaways, and then we're gonna talk about the shit ton of news that came out, all the fight announcements since I've been gone. So this past 2 weeks, pretty much all the news, fight announcements since then, and then lastly, our last topic, third and final one on today's show is UFC London is this upcoming weekend. It's an early one, but it's a banger. And I believe, Dorian, there's money to be made this weekend. So we're going to give you our thoughts, our bets, our picks, opinions on this upcoming weekend's fight card. But with that being said, if you guys wouldn't mind, please put a thumbs up on the video. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, come on now, help us out. I do 2 or 3 videos here every single week. Dorian does at least one with me here. Sometimes he'll jump in on the change to cheddar, but sometimes we don't even do that. But yeah, if any of that interests you, please subscribe to the channel, and all of your comments down below are greatly appreciated. If we get back to you, I reply, Dorian replies. Yeah. But let's get into the first topic of today's show. This past weekend's card, man. So it was Brian Ortega versus Yaya Rodriguez. I was anticipating it. I'm a huge fan of both fighters back and forth, but you got the live look, I guess. So I guess just go on from there, and then just anything else that you want to just talk about.
Well, really, the thing for me was, and I even messaged you before the fight started. I had said that I didn't realize that Ortega and Yaya Rodriguez were such boys as they were. They were such good buddies, and they were dapping each other up, and I think they seen each other like backstage, like before the weigh-ins, or it was like the week of the fight, and they're like hugging each other, and they dapped each other up 2 or 3 different times already, and I had texted you and I said, man, it's just it's weird to me because I was wondering how that was going to play out in the fight, but I actually thought that they actually came out with a lot of fire, even though they had a lot of respect for one another. Yaya Rodriguez did look sharp. Ortega, he seemed like he started to fall into some of the old Ortega traps where he gets a little bit trade happy. Now, he was able to land a couple of good shots on Yair, and he was able to bust him up. He had a couple good counters, like a couple good 1-2s. He switched to southpaw, and he landed his left hand a couple of times on Yair. But Yair, man, he's got such a quick 1-2. His kicks are super lightning. Ortega was struggling to get a takedown there. It was one of them where he almost went to kind of like pull guard against Yair, and Yair was able to defend it. But there towards the end of the round, Ortega was finally able to get the takedown, and he actually looked like he was starting to fight with some control, unlike the Ortega that we've seen in the past when he turns into the wild man. And Yair actually defended himself really well, and he went to frame himself up for an armbar, and he had his feet on I believe on Yair or on Ortega's chest, went to push off, and when he did, Ortega went to pull back, and I guess at the same time of Yair pulling his arm and Ortega pulling back, it separated Ortega's shoulder. So it was just an unfortunate ending to what was looking like it was going to be a really good fight. So going into the fight, we thought if Yair had a definitive win, he was going to get a title shot. But with such a shaky decision in the way that it happened, or a shaky result in the way it happened, it's going to be hard for him to get a title shot coming off of that.
Yeah, I guess like just the takeaways for like me was as you said, kind of a bummer. Like it could have been a great fight. I guess it just is what it is though. I just hope that he can like recover and get back because he is one of my favorite fighters, if not my favorite fighter in the 145 division. So yeah, I guess my only takeaway from the fight was it's just like, bro, like that's what happened. That's what happened. But it just kind of is what it is. But I guess you kind of want to talk about the Emmett versus like the Yair or
Oh well, I just we were talking about it throughout the week, and I had even said we were talking about it. I think it was last Tuesday, Wednesday or so that I said if Yair beats Ortega, that I think that it should be an interim title fight with Josh Emmett because a lot of people had just completely disregarded Josh Emmett as a title contender in the 45 division right now. When honestly, who has a better case than he does right now? I mean, you can say that the Cater win wasn't a win, but if you look on the stat sheet, it was absolutely proven as a win, and it's not like it was a robbery by any means. It was still a close fight, and it was still a split decision. Just two judges seeing Josh Emmett's way, but he still won the fight against the top contender who was coming off of that big Giga win. And Yair, although he's coming off the win against Ortega, it's only one fight that he would have won in the last 2-3 years. He had a 2-year layoff, and it wasn't even really due to injury. It was just due to I think it was just him wanting to sharpen his skills. I don't know if he didn't want to fight in the Apex, but it wasn't really much to do with injury, more just him sharpening his tools. And he's a young fighter, so of course he has room to grow. But I just think there's a potential that you could just rush him into an unnecessary title shot. And I think a guy like Josh Emmett definitely deserves it right now. And if you're not going to have Volkanovski fight for a little bit, he has the broken thumb and he has aspirations to fight at the 155 division right now. He's looking at the winner between Islam and Oliveira. He's already kind of announced that. So, with that being said, I could see a potential end of the year interim title fight between Yair and Josh Emmett to basically decide the number one contender for Volkanovski next.
I mean, it's an okay fight for me. I already kind of said this to you. It's like I don't really, I guess, I don't like fucking need the interim title on the line because of an injury that may keep him out for 6 to 8 months. Like if he's going to be out for like a year and a half, all right, that makes sense. But he could be back in like 6 months, and it's like, well, you guys just made that for no reason. So who knows, dude? Like it's a good fight, but
dude, this is
do I
the
feel like it's needed?
UFC.
No.
But dude, just think about this. When Francis Ngannou won the heavyweight championship last year, he won it in what? It was March of last year when he won it. There was an interim title fight for his belt in August of the same year. They only gave him a 4-month turnaround, so it's not like it's anything outside of the realm of possibility. And it's something that the UFC definitely has done time and time again when they're trying to boost some of these cards toward the end of the year for the pay-per-view buys, the champions or people in championship fights gets a pay bump. So I mean, I think all in all, it kind of honestly it establishes the true number one contender in my eyes, because that's all really an interim title fight is a number one contender spot. But I just think that overall, I think that's a really good matchup. And people don't give Emmett enough credit for actually being like an action fighter. He's willing to go in there and brawl. He's had wars with Calvin Kattar and Yair Rodriguez. He's went to slug with Michael Johnson. So he's definitely in there to bang. And I think with the style that Yair has, his fast, just fast kicks, his hands are quick. He's shown some improved ground skills, as you've seen when Ortega took him down. That was one thing I've been critical of him. And Josh Emmett has good wrestling. So if Josh Emmett takes him down, is there going to be the threat of the submission? So I just think stylistically, it's a really good matchup. And you throw an interim title fight on it, I just think it only adds more stakes to the fight. And I like both fighters, and I think it's a good opportunity for both of them as well.
If they put that title fight as a main event of a pay-per-view, dude, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed.
Come on, dude. Come on, dude. That's not gonna. Dude, they could probably make that the co-main event to Nate Diaz and Khamzat Chimaev, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I don't know if they would really disrespect the title fight like that with
that better be like
event,
the third title fight on the card, dude. That better not be even the co-main event, dude.
It could be the co-main event to like a lackluster pay-per-view. I mean, look, we got the pay-per-view coming up next week as well, and you got the interim title fight with Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno, and then Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. So it's not like we haven't seen the cards at the top be the most complete. I think something like that could be a perfect co-main event for maybe an Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya headline card. If that's the co-main event on that fight card, dude, I'm pretty pumped for that.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. So, overall, cool fights this past weekend. What was I guess one standout fight of the night that you want to talk about? That you just have to.
I think the one that we have to talk about it is Matthew Schnell and Suma Darji. Just through the comeback, and really for the people who haven't watched it, you really don't even have to watch the first round. Because the first round, I'm not going to say it was uneventful, but it was definitely a filling out process. I thought Suma Darji won the round. He was a little bit more active on the feet. Matthew Schnell was landing some good shots, but it was not a lackluster first round. But that second round was absolutely nuts. Sumidarji just landing big left hands over and over again against Matthew Schnell, and it rocked him on multiple occasions. And it looked like Matthew Schnell was going to fall over, and he never did. And there was one moment where Matthew Schnell would shell up, and he would have his hands in front of his face, and Sumidarji would hand fight with him and take an elbow and land it over the top. And it was like every time he did, it was like he hit him with a hammer, and like he would just freeze and he would almost fall, and he would just kind of just like gain his consciousness back. Sumidarji hit him with at least about 3 or 4 of those elbows that completely froze him as if he was Sub-Zero hitting him with the fucking ice blaster and shit. Like he literally was freezing him with those elbows. And after a while, Matthew Schnell, he just ended up wearing on him, and he never went away. And Sumidarji started to get tired there at the end of the second round. There's about a minute and a half left. Matthew Schnell landed a big right hand and hurt Sumidarji. Sumidarji got backed up to the fence. Matthew Schnell takes him down, turns his face into ground beef with some vicious ground and pound, landed some slashing elbows, gets Sumidarji in the triangle choke, and ends up choking him out unconscious, dude. Like it was an absolute brutal fight. That round alone could be fight of the year, just with the way the swing of emotion, the swing of emotions, the swing of the action. Because Sumidarji was on his way to, if he didn't stop that fight in that round, it was going to be a 10-8. And he ended up with a minute and a half left getting cracked. And that just, that fight was a representation of why we love this sport. Just for fights like that, man. You just never know. Those are hidden jewels on cards like that. This isn't a pay-per-view where, it's the biggest stars. It's just, a couple of guys who are just in there just ready to scrap and bang it out. And just a hell of a fight overall. And I was super glad I was able to watch it.
Yeah, man. Hell of a round 2 comeback. I don't want to say like fucking round 1 was uneventful, but I think like fucking Sumidarji, just overall round 1 of that, I would say Schnell came on stronger of like round 2, but then as you said, dude, just the elbows just kept getting just hit over and over by those elbows, and it makes sense. He was at a massive like reach and height disadvantage, dude. Fucking Sumidarji is huge for 125. Like, I want to say he was like he's like 6'1", maybe something like that, dude. He's taller than me, but
He
but
looks like it.
but he fights at 125, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely looks like a beast. But and then another shout out that I just wanted to give another shout out to the Leech, Li Jingliang. Really good performance from him, just because he had the really bad loss to Khamzat Chimaev. First fight back since he had that bad loss, and he even admitted that loss kind of made him a better fighter. And you can actually see it in this fight. Salikov was on like a 5-fight win streak. He's
The king of
pretty well
kung fu,
rounded.
dude.
Yeah, he's pretty well rounded. Good kicks, good boxing. He's got pretty good wrestling. And Li Jingliang, he was ready to scrap. Landed some big right hands in that second round, and that finishing sequence was beautiful. So shout out to the Leech.
All right, fair enough. I'm glad you didn't take my standout performance of the night, but it was actually like between like the Leech and this one right here. Dustin Jacoby, dude. Dustin Jacoby putting it on Da Un Jung down on the prelims. I got to be honest, it was like one of the only ones that I did see live. I was like, oh, sick. I'm like able to see this one. Like I was just like in the airport, just kind of chilling there. And I was like, hell yeah. And dude, Dustin Jacoby, I don't know how he's doing it, dude. If these dudes are somehow bigger than he is, I'm going Dustin Jacoby, dude. He just seems to keep getting it done and in like emphatic fashion, dude. Knocks Da Jung out. I believe it was the second round, yeah, or was it the first round?
It was a first round knockout.
First round, yeah. 3 minutes into the first round, dude. But damn, just for sure gets it done. Also, Bill Algeo just crumbling Herbert Burns, dude. He said it was his like knee, but I don't know, dude. It just kind of seemed like bro, you went for that body triangle and you burned your shit out that fucking round one. And then now you're tired as fuck. That's what
Yeah,
happened, bro.
dude, he was tired in the first round. It was
Yeah.
that one moment when Bill Algeo went to stand him up in the first round. Dude, they almost stopped it in the first round. So yeah,
Yeah.
he was definitely gassed.
Crazy, dude. Yeah. But crazy night of fights. And also Ricky Simon ruining all the betters funds of the night. But yeah, gets it
Bastard.
done. Gets it done.
No, I'm kidding. I was saying that it was a close fight, and the odds were actually close for a reason. Ricky Simone wasn't that big of an underdog. Just there was a lot of momentum behind Jack Shore, but dude, Ricky Simone is he's a thumper, dude. That dude comes and he's well rounded, and he's starting to put a lot of his game together. His hands are starting to come together more now. He hurt Jack Shore in the feet before he was able to get the submission. So he's really starting to put his game together and bounce back since that Uriah Faber loss.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, but anyways, just good fights overall, but we're not going to spend too much time on this card because we weren't really here to preview it or anything, so we're just kind of just talking about what happened. But those were the key points, key takeaways. Amanda Lemos did sub like Michelle the Karate Hottie Watterson. What is it? Watterson Gomez now.
Yeah.
And like another big takeaway, Lauren Murphy spoils the 125 debut for Misha Tate. And Shane Burgos, I guess, beat Charles Jourdain, but dude, it was like the scorecards are super wonky. It's like somehow Shane Burgos got, excuse me, a 10-8 round one. And if you give him a 10-8 round one, then you
Or
have
it
to
was two,
give,
round two.
yeah, well, one of the two. Then you have to give Charles Jourdain a 10-8 in that round three, dude. He had landed like 80 significant strikes, not even total strikes, significant strikes in round three, dude. Like I just a hell of a fight, all back and forth. Two warriors. Charles Jourdain looked for sure like the smaller guy in there, which really threw me off just a tad because I had to be honest, didn't see the weigh-ins at all. Couldn't make any bets while I was down in Jamaica, but watched them in the airport. Still enjoyed it. Didn't win anything obviously because all my bets were old and all of them had Jack Shore. But yeah, man. But
And Jack.
anything else from that card, man?
No, just like I said, just one of those little sneaky cards that end up delivering a lot of good performances. So another good one from the UFC, and they've been on a high streak.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's talk about all the news and fight announcements that has happened since I've been gone. So I'll just kind of start back from close to our last podcast after the what was it? What was the card, man?
Um, wasn't it Fiziev dos Anjos?
Yeah. After that card, man. So since then, dude, been announced October 22nd. Also in Abu Dhabi, Sean Brady versus Bilal Muhammad. October 1st, main event, probably a UFC Apex card if this is going to main event. Here we got Mackenzie Dern taking on Yan Xiaonan. Don't know who those are. We got Giga Chikadze taking on Sadiq Yusuf on September 17th. We got Nate Landwehr returning against Zabura Takugov on August 6th. You know, I'm a Nate Landwehr fan, man.
Zubaira, that's Habib's cousin. Wasn't that the one that jumped in and slapped McGregor
Yeah, something
or
like
something like
that.
that?
But, you know, I'm going for the Nate train,
Or
baby.
one of his boys?
You know, I'm going for the Nate train. You know, I still got power in these hands. Just had to show y'all one
Fuck.
time I could do that there.
Fucking goof.
Yeah. We got Fluffy Hernandez returning against the Power Bar, Mark Andre Barrio on September 17th. We got Brendan Allen taking on Christoph Jocko added to October 1st card. We got Maria Agapova is out, and Jiyeon Kim, the Fire Fist, will now take Jocelyn Edwards on UFC 277, July 30th. Let's see. Ignacio Bahamondes is out of UFC 277. Mason Jones steps in to take on Ludovic Klein. Who is these guys? Drakkar Close is going to take on Rafa Garcia on UFC 277 now because Diego Ferreira is out. That don't surprise me, dude. I don't know why he's in the UFC still, dude. It's like he's not good at all. He can't make weight. Bro, he gets zero sympathy from me, and everyone's like, oh, he's so good. No, he's not, dude. All right. Anyway, before I get ranting on, Gabriel Benitez is going to take on Charlie Ontiveros. That was the guy that Kevin Holland like fucking slammed and like fucking hurt his neck or whatever with the weird looking hair.
Yeah, yeah, he looked like a Brussels sprout.
Indeed, he did. Indeed, he did. Let's see what else we got on here. And then getting down to pretty much what's been announced this past week. Everyone's already probably seen it by now, but Oliveira is going to be taking on Islam Makhachev October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. That'll clearly be that main event there. Then we got remember that Jessica Andrade is now out against Manon Fiorot. She's going to be taking on what was originally announced or scheduled Dorian's favorite fighter at 125, Choo Choo. Caitlin Chukagian is going to take on Manon Fiorot.
Choo choo.
And that is going to be on September 3rd in Paris. Looks like Justin Tafa is now out, and Dontel Mays will now fight someone that I'm not going to try to say his name, but we got the return of Dontel Mays, dude. I cannot wait for those. What are they called? Pelvic strikes, dude.
Them lethal fucking weapons.
Yeah, dude. And I cannot believe this was announced, I believe, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago now. We got Khamzat and Nate, dude. So let's stop right here. Let's talk about this for just a second. Khamzat versus Nate. You said that you're surprised that Nate accepted this fight. Well, you were. You're like, there's no way that he even takes that fight, dude. But I was like fucking listening to MK earlier, man, and it said that in an interview somewhere, like fucking Luke was like, they wanted to be specific that Nate had been asking for this fight since the Gilbert Burns fight, that Nate wanted this fight. No one else on his team wanted this fight but Nate. So where do you go from there, man? How nuts is that?
Man, I just think that maybe Nate sees vulnerabilities in his game, but I don't think that Nate Diaz is quite the jiu-jitsu wizard that Gilbert Burns is. So, I'd seen Khamzat Chimaev in an interview after he fought Gilbert Burns, and I think it was with the ESPN set when they do like the post-fight show, and they asked him why he ended up getting into a brawl with him, and he said that when he took Gilbert Burns down, Gilbert Burns attempted an armbar, and he specifically said, "I did not like that shit." And he absolutely did not want any part of it, stood up and was like, fuck it, let's bang. I don't think Nate's jiu-jitsu is that dangerous. Now, I do understand that he's going to be able to defend himself. I don't think that Khamzat's going to be able to go in there and submit Nate. I don't think he's going to submit him. But I do think that Khamzat's going to be the much bigger guy. I mean, Khamzat's fought at 185 like plenty of times, and Nate is basically a blown-up 155er. And I just think the size difference is going to be what's really going to stand out once that fight comes along. Just really surprised that Nate's willing to take that fight, but I guess as long as the UFC isn't trying to attach another fight to his contract, as long as they're willing to let him go, he's just willing to do what he can to get the hell out of there now.
Kind of crazy, yeah. Like fuck, dude. Opening odds, dude, minus 1100 for Khamzat, and like I would say it was like plus 875 for like Nate, dude. Just
Crazy,
crazy,
man.
dude. I mean, but it makes sense, dude. Nate is not as powerful. As you were saying, like fucking Gilbert's got way more I guess knockdown power than fucking Nate does. Dude, his like jujitsu, I'm not saying it's better, but it's more powerful. Like fucking Nate, you don't even see it anymore. And it like if so, it's like a basic ass choke, like you don't really see him do anything too crazy ever since like the Ultimate Fighter, like around those days. But dude, the only thing that I can think that he maybe sees was like he's like, well, I can like outlast them, dude. No fucking way, dude. I guess that being said, dude, it's like fucking Khamzat's an absolute animal, and I believe as good as you think that Nate Diaz's chin is, dude. I don't see this getting like out of the second round. Khamzat probably by TKO. I don't think he subs him. Oddly enough, I think he's going to try to knock him out, dude. How do you think this goes?
No, I think Hamzat tries to take him down. I mean, that's the path of least resistance. You take him down, and probably he's going to. I think he'll be able to establish enough control to where he can get a TKO stoppage. Um, I don't think it's going to result on the feet at all. Hamzat's not going to be dumb and get into a brawl with Nate because that's exactly what Nate wants him to do.
I just think
Hamzat's
it's
a
just
smart fighter, dude.
it's just going to be a big size difference in the two because as you said, dude, fucking Nate's basically a blown up 155er, and dude, Hamzat was a solid 185-pound fighter, dude. Multiple fights, multiple wins at 185, dude. Kind of crazy, but let's not get to talking about this too much more than what we have, dude. And then announced pretty much right before this show, dude. I was like, what the fuck? What is happening? I thought it was a joke, but Sugar Sean O'Malley, October 30th in Abu Dhabi, going to be taking on none other than No Mercy Peter Yan. Immediate thoughts, man? What's up?
I'm actually surprised that they went and gave him Peter Yan. Peter Yan, he said that if Sean O'Malley won, that he would have wanted Sean O'Malley to have called him out. But I'm surprised that that Peter Yan was willing to take the fight with him, considering that he came off a no contest. But he really does want to. He said he wanted to try to get a hold of Sean O'Malley, and I guess he really does. And I think the matchup is going to be super interesting because Yan can wrestle, but Yan's a guy who has a lot of forward relentless pressure. So it's like with this one, I wanted it to be a 5 round fight so bad, but I'm likely this is going to be a 3 round fight considering it's on the Abu Dhabi card and it's already got the main event and I believe the co-main event as well. Another fight announcement: TJ Dillashaw and Aljamain Sterling's official as well. Um, Also on the same card, ironically enough, but no, I do think that super fun matchup. I think this this should be able to tell us as far as where we think Sean O'Malley his projection is going to be in this division. Peter Yan is of course former champ. He lost the last fight to Aljamain Sterling fair and square. I thought he lost the fight clean, but he is a former champ. Guys only, he's fought a lot of killers in the division. He's put up, good efforts against a lot of good people. Very dangerous, very cerebral, but he's super powerful. He's just mean. He's got a mean streak about him. So I'm willing to see, or I'm wanting to see how deep Sugar Sean is kind of willing to dig because it's definitely, I think with the way that they match up, it's definitely going to be one of those fights where Sean's going to have to dig deep to try to find a win.
Who's going to be the underdog and favorite in that fight, man? Because so far, every Sean O'Malley fight so far, he's always the favorite, dude. Like, and by like quite a bit too. Like, it's always like kind of like 3-1, dude.
But look at the competition though, as far as
I know,
dude, this is a very big jump up. I
dude.
mean, I know the Pedro Munoz
If
fight, he was a big favorite,
if
but Pedro Munoz has
if
also only won one fight in his last what four.
if
Yeah, this is
O'Malley
this is a
isn't,
really different guy.
if he's not at least a 2-1 underdog, dude, I'm going to be like upset, dude. I'm like, it's literally Jan could literally be the champion right now. If O'Malley beats Jan, dude, it's off to the races, dude. He's going to be the champion. Like, who's better at one, like at 135 than Jan? I would say maybe TJ. Like, like like those Aljo fights, they're close, I guess, but in reality,
Aljo's a bad
dude,
Aljo. Styles make fights, but I actually think Aljo is probably the worst matchup for Sean out of all those guys, just because it's wrestling.
but when have you ever seen O'Malley's like fucking defense at all? Fucking no one tries to take him down. He's
But
great at
but has
jujitsu,
he
dude.
really fought like a takedown artist though?
He's
Has he really
great
fought a
at
takedown artist?
jujitsu.
Thomas Almeida is going in there going blast for double leg.
Believe it or not, he's great at jujitsu, man. So that'd be interesting. I like to see too. And he's a lot bigger than Aljo, so it'd be interesting, dude. It really would be interesting. But as I said, man, you beat Peter Yan. I consider you to be top of the division. It'd be interesting to see him against Sandhagen, maybe Dillashaw. Interesting fights overall. But yeah, man. And then like the one, like the last one, as you said, also on that same card. Fuck, what's the fight, dude?
TJ Dillashaw and
Oh yeah,
Aljamain Sterling is going to be
TJ.
the co-main event.
Yeah, TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling, co-main event. On that Islam versus Charles Oliveira fight. O'Malley, Peter Yan on that now, dude. That's gonna be a hell of a card. Fucking UFC 280, man. An
Yeah,
absolute
it's
banger.
definitely panning out to be a go. It's definitely panning out to be a good one so far. Of course, we always get excited for these cards, and the matchups fall out halfway through. So let's not try to get too excited just yet. We're still about 3 months out, but from the looks of it now, looks like it's gonna be some fire.
For sure, dude. One thing that seems kind of odd to me, dude, is that Khamzat versus Nate is, I guess, the headliner for 279, but um, it doesn't look like there's like anything else announced for the card yet. So hopefully they like stack that card rather high or do something, dude, because it if that's like if they try to put like a bunch of other bullshit on like on that card, dude, it's gonna be like, what the hell, man?
Like they're going to put some like lower tier like regional
Contender
fucking
series
fights. Like
fighters on it.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna put like regional
Contender
fights
series
on like
vet,
the
like,
the main
god damn
card.
it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be so pissed
Yeah,
off, dude. It's like I would literally
yeah.
have to buy it just for that fight.
And honestly, I think I would not be surprised if they did end up going that way, just to try to crush Nate's pay-per-view value overall. They're definitely not trying to do him any favors by giving him the Hamzat matchup, and if he ends up losing pretty bad, that's going to do him not too well. Hamzat Chimaev is a well-known guy, but amongst the American fans, I don't know how well he's known, so I don't know how well promoted the fight is going to be. So many questions going on into it. So how they stack the card is going to be definitely interesting, considering that they're the main event.
Indeed, indeed. So with that being said, that's all the news, all the fight announcements from these past few weeks while I've been gone. We didn't podcast last week. But let's talk about this upcoming weekend's fights. Let's make our official picks, dude. And I'll put this strap on the line for you to finally maybe get back. It's been a few weeks now, man. Like three weeks now, 4 weeks, something like that. Can you get this bad boy back this upcoming week, dude? Let's see, dude. So this upcoming week, we got UFC London. We got Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes, the main event. Co-main event. I cannot believe they put this as the co-main event. We got Jack Hermanson taking on Chris Curtis, man. Remember that Darren
Hey,
Till
what the disrespect to the action man? What are we doing here? Jack was
co-main
all
event, co-main
Jack
event,
Herman Jack
co-main
Hermanson was
event in
already
London, co-main event in
Jack Hermanson.
London
Jack Hermanson was already the co-main event. He's a
with
big
Darren
deal in London
Till
as
in
well.
London.
He's a big deal in London as well, though. And they had a bunch of young people up there. Come on, disrespect to the action man. What are we doing?
It's not because he doesn't belong there. I'm saying if it was Darren Till versus Chris Curtis, that would make sense for co-main event. But it's because of Darren Till, though. I don't think that is necessary for that co-main event spot. That's just me. We got Patty the Batty taking on Jordan the Monkey King Levitt, dude. Some crazy interviews fucking been happening these past few days, but
Interesting, to say the
yeah,
least.
for sure. We got Nikita Krillov taking on the returning back down to light heavyweight Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. Molly the meatball McCann taking on Han at 24K Goldie. Paul Craig taking on Vulcan Ozdemir, and that is and that's just the main card.
That's how Paul
Dude.
Craig would say. That's how Paul Craig would say it. Is Vulcan
Yeah, exactly. And that's
now,
just the main
now,
that's just the main card, dude. So now we got the prelims. Mason Jones taking on Ludovic Klein. Mark DeCasey taking on Demir Hadzovic. Nathaniel Wood taking on Charles Rosa. Makwan Amir Khani taking on Jonathan JSP Pierce. Muhammad Makayev taking on Charles Johnson. Jai Herbert taking on Kyle Nelson. Mandy Baum taking on Victoria Leonardo. And Claudio Silva taking on Nicholas Dalby. So, Jesus, we have a lot of fights this upcoming weekend, but also they start early as shit. If you're on the East Coast, 11 a.m. is the start time for the prelims. And if you're on the never mind. And the main card, the start time for that
don't worry
is at
about
2 p.m. Yep, I don't give a fuck.
it.
Sucks for you guys.
It ain't worth it, buddy. It ain't worth it.
Sucks for you guys to have to wake up like fucking like 6 a.m. to watch some fights. Yeah. But finally, dude, it's not gonna be late as shit. Main of like the main card starts at 2 p.m. So early night of fights. I do got some shit to do this weekend, so be pretty sick if I could get those things done. So let's talk about it, man. Main event: Curtis Blaydes taking on Tom Aspinall. It's going to be an interesting fight. I would have much rather have seen, I think, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gahn and Tai Tuivasa versus Curtis Blaydes, but that's just me. But we end up getting Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall here. I got to go Tom Aspinall. He's only shown nothing but complete dominance, like over everyone that he's fucking fought so far. I have to go Tom Aspinall here. I don't think he gets it done early. I think Tom Aspinall like round 3 or later seems live, but I would feel most confident with Tom Aspinall by decision, I think, because Curtis Blaydes, dude, just tough as all hell. Just a good fighter overall, like the best wrestler. Was the best wrestler in the division for a while, but man, there's some young up and comers like now they're just putting on the wrestling shoes and getting on the mats, and they're coming from these crazy ass places like Moldova. Yeah, kind of crazy, man. Who you got here in this fight?
I think it's a really interesting matchup. You know, especially we all know the wrestling with Curtis Blaydes, but dude, here lately he's really been able to put it together with his hands. You know, we've seen in the Chris Dawkins fight. You know, he's really able to let his hands go in that fight. I know he had the wrestling affair with Jairzinho Rosenstrike, but I think that was more to kind of get himself back on the board, considering he came off that Derek Lewis knockout. But he really showed some evolution in his game coming into that Chris Dawkins fight. Dude, Tom Aspinall, we both said going into that Volkov fight that we had favored him, but we thought that it was going to be a very tough matchup, and he actually made it look very easy. I did not expect him to blow away Volkov the way he did. I do think that Curtis Blaydes is definitely live. He's going to definitely be capable of winning this fight. I do think the better athlete overall, and the more well-rounded guy is going to be Tom Aspinall. I think he'll be able to. I think he'll have the speed advantage. He'll have the boxing advantage. Curtis Blaydes will have the wrestling advantage, but a lot of times, if he goes for takedowns and can't get them early on, he will tend to not lose confidence, but tend to lose some of his gas tank as he goes for those takedowns and misses. He's known to have done that in some of the fights in his past, and I'm definitely interested to see how that pans out. But I do think that Tom Aspinall is the more well-rounded overall. Think probably riding with you as well. I don't think he knocks. You know what? Actually, yeah, I do. I think he knocks him out. I think Curtis Blaydes. I think similar to you. I think maybe like a later finish, maybe like third round, fourth round or so. But yeah, I actually think overall, I think Tom Aspinall actually has the capability of finishing him.
Yeah, same. Like it's like I'm not saying that he can't because he for sure could, dude. I just don't think it'll be so soon because, dude, Blaydes is only
It's
have
not
been
easy.
finished by two people, Francis and fucking Derek Lewis. And although Aspinall has power, I don't believe he has the power of either one of those two individuals. Those two just have
Yeah.
the power of Thor. But I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. Overall, I'm going Tom Aspinall here. I believe he gets it done. I say past round 3 is a safe bet. So Tom Aspinall over 2.5. I think that's a solid bet, in my opinion. But let's move on down. There's a little bug in here. Move on down to the co-main event. I guess Jack Hermanson taking on Chris Curtis. I know Action Man is your guy, dude. Who you got here?
Yeah, absolutely. Action Man here. I've been big on him since he came into the UFC. In that first fight he had against Phil Halls, and man, he's been living up to his name, the action fighter, and he's been active. And he just came off the win against Adolfo Vieira, where he really tend to kind of seem to put everything together with the takedown defense. He was able to kind of stay calm in the pocket, able to land big shots, didn't get himself in too much danger. I think Jack Hermanson, a big thing with him, he's a very much well-rounded fighter. I think people don't give him enough credit for his striking. He does have good boxing. He has really good kicks. He has good body kicks. So that's one thing you can actually watch out for in this fight. But I do think that Jack Hermanson, once he gets hit a couple times and he doesn't get the takedown, he tends to get into a little bit of a scrap. He tends to make it a scrap. I know when the Marvin Vettori fight, when he wasn't able to get those takedowns against Vettori early, all of a sudden they just banged it out for 5 rounds and just went blow for blow with one another. And I think with Chris Curtis, if you end up getting into that type of fight with Chris Curtis, it's definitely going to be the wrong decision for him. I think Chris Curtis can finish him, and I actually think Chris Curtis does finish him this time. Adolfo Vieira, he was a little bit more easy with him because he didn't want to. I think he didn't want to get himself set up with the dangerous submission threat that Adolfo Vieira is. Jack Hermanson is a submission threat, but I think it's when he's initiating his wrestling. I think when he's being put on his back foot or when he's being hurt, he's not really able to implement his wrestling as much. And if you go back to the Cannonier fight when Jack Hermanson fought Jared Cannonier, Jared Cannonier was able to fend off his takedowns. He went to get into a slugfest with him, and Jared Cannonier put his lights out. And once he had him hurt, Jack Hermanson kind of just shut up and didn't want anymore. I think you can see a similar result in this fight. Give me action, man.
Fair enough, dude. I've been on this train picking against Chris Curtis this whole time, dude. I've been doing it. I always keep going against them. So now is the time to watch that bitch pass again, dude. I'm taking Jack Hermanson again, dude. I think this looks a lot like the Kelvin Gastelum fight, dude. I think Jack Hermanson subs him. I don't know why I'm just focusing in on that fight so much, but dude, it's like they're roughly the same size. Dude, Jack Hermanson's been training with Khamzat. I guess put like in the spotlight now. And I don't know, dude. Something just tells me it's kind of like the Andre Fiallo, dude. You can't keep fighting like this over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna run into someone that is just they're more fresh than you are, dude. You just need a break every now and then. And although I do like Chris Curtis, dude, if it wasn't this like on fucking 2 weeks notice, like fucking 1 week's notice or some shit like that, I believe I would take Chris Curtis here. But that simple factor, dude, I'm going Jack Hermanson here, and we got our first difference of the night, dude. Did I sway you at all there, or no? Do you see where I'm coming from?
I can understand, but I think the Gaslam fight, Gaslam can he was losing some steam at that point. He was coming off the Izzy and Darren Till loss, and he was kind of easy for the picking. I think Chris Curtis is riding in on a high, so I think really that's kind of the difference. I think he took a little bit of damage in the Hidalgo fight. Andre Fiallo, I think similar to Chris Curtis, they're taking a lot of fights, but Andre Fiallo was getting in some scraps, dude. Like he got in that scrap with Michelle Pereira at the beginning of the year, and even in that Cameron Van Camp fight, he took some shots. In the Miguel Baeza fight, he took some big shots. Chris Curtis really hasn't taken that much damage in the. He took a little bit in the Phil Hawes fight, but it wasn't anything overwhelming. The Brendan Allen fight didn't really take too much damage, got him hurt and out of there early. The Rodolfo Vieira fight, Rodolfo landed some good shots, but if you looked at Chris Curtis after the fight, you wouldn't really tell that he was in a fight. He wasn't really bruised or banged up like that. So Andre Fialli took a little bit more damage in his fights than Chris Curtis did. So I think there's the little bit of the difference there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I am going the Joker, Jack Hermanson here. So up next we got PTB, Patty the Batty, taking on the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, dude. Are we going to see a twerk or a teabag on Saturday night, dude?
Could you imagine if one of them did a twerking teabag on the other one? Like at the end of the fight, you just see one looking like they got like their hand on the floor and their feet on the wall, just like doing like a twerk, and then they're just like fucking teabagging him at the same time. I can see that shit based on the interviews they've been doing here this week. But now I honestly to be serious about the matchup overall, I think he's just going to be one step ahead. I think Jordan Levitt, he is good with his wrestling and his submissions, but I just don't think that he's going to really be able to have anything for Patty on the feet. Now, I think the only thing with Patty that I haven't seen from him just yet, that I'm interested to see, is if someone's able to initiate the wrestling on him, how good is he going to be off his back? We haven't seen him challenge to that extent just yet. He's kind of been in a little bit of a scrap fest in his first couple of fights. Jordan Levitt's not going to be that type of fighter at all. He's going to try to keep it clean. He's going to try to implement his game plan and try to implement his will on him. So on Patty Pimblett. So yeah, I'm expecting to see how their styles clash, but I think that Patty should be a little bit too much for him, and I think Patty can actually probably get the finish as well. I think you might see similar to the London card earlier in the year where you've seen all kinds of finishes. I think this could be a similar outcome
against like Luigi Benjamini. Oh, you think it's gonna end like that?
I don't think it might end similar to that. I think he'll hit Jordan Levitt a couple times. Jordan Levitt, he hadn't really been hit that much in his fights. I'm curious to see if he gets hit a couple times. How much is he really willing to be in there? Because he doesn't seem like the guy who likes taking damage that much. He has one loss in the UFC, and it was really kind of more of a control fest more than anything. He really minimized the damage. So if Patty goes in there and implements his wild style against him and starts landing some big shots, how much is Jordan Levitt going to be willing to take?
Fair enough. Chances of Levitt spoiling it, dude. Out of 100%, what are chances that you give Jordan Levitt of spoiling the Patty show in London, dude? I have a number in my head, and I'll
I
see
mean,
if we're on the same
I mean,
page.
I'll say 20%.
I
I
I
mean,
would say I would say 30%. Yeah, dude. Like it's like he's not a bad fighter. Like he's a good fighter. He's got solid wrestling. If he can take Patty down and just wet blanket him, dude, that could happen for 3 rounds, and a lot of people are going to be upset. You're going to hear a lot of boos, but at the end of the night, you're going to see a twerk, and that's the only thing that he cares about, dude. So, could it happen? Yeah, I guess I feel more
go
confident.
ahead, do it.
I feel more
Do it,
confident,
Khamzat.
Patty. I feel way more confident, Patty getting it done on the feet, man. Like Patty by knockout, Patty by club and sub. I think Patty finishes him.
Yeah, I think the same. I think Patty's able to finish him, and yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to try to move Patty Pimblett because they're saying they're going to try to put him on the Sean O'Malley plan, but Sean O'Malley's taken some tough matchups here lately, so I'm curious to see if he takes a few more fights and then all of a sudden tries to climb up the division.
Maybe, dude. Maybe. So, next fight of the night, Nikita Krillov taking on the return down to 205, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. I have to go Gus here, dude. I don't know why. Have to ride with the vet. Nikita Krillov is good though. Just recently lost to Paul Craig. But I'm going Gus here, probably by decision. How you going?
Uh, man, you know what? I'm sitting here saying the same thing. Like Gus, you gotta get it. You gotta get it right. You gotta get going. But for some reason, I just cannot find myself to pick Alexander Gustafsson. It's just the last couple of times we've seen him, he just hasn't looked motivated. Hasn't looked like he's really wanted to be there. And I think Nikita Krylov, he's been a little bit more active. He was having some success in that Paul Craig fight before he ended up being dumb and getting caught in the triangle. But he was landing some good ground and pound. I think you might see a little bit more of a wrestling heavy approach from Nikita Krylov. I think you can see Nikita Krylov win a decision here.
It could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. So at least we both think this is going to decision. So I guess it's a solid bet this fight to go to decision.
I definitely
So
already placed a little bet for over 2.5. So
okay.
just let you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So one we might disagree on, we might agree on, dude. But one that I do think the odds are way out of line. Last night, Molly McCann was a minus 340 over a he's like plus 325 Hannah Goldie, dude. Something like that, dude. What the hell? So Hannah Goldie by decision last night was I think like plus 490 or something like that on FanDuel because apparently those odds changed super quick. Because right when you told me, dude, I like went to check and everything was like locked and like blacked out. So shit started changing real quick. Not by a whole lot, but she's not straight up plus 500 anymore as you were saying. So the meatball taking on 24k here and Hannah Goldie. Who you got, dude? I'm gonna let you pick.
Yeah, I do think the lines are super out of whack because Molly McCann, she's a good fighter. But I'm not going to sit here and say she's a great fighter, and she definitely doesn't warrant those odds. And I think that Hannah Goldie, she's definitely going to be, she's scrappy, she's tough, she's got good wrestling. I do think that she's going to have the ability to go in there and take Molly down. Um, I do think that a lot of times, man, the only thing with these London crowds is they can sway. To me, I think they can sway the judges a little bit more than most crowds can, especially if one is to go to a decision. I think if this is to go to a decision, unless Molly is able to finish it, I do think Molly actually wins the fight. But from a gambling perspective, for Hannah Goldie to be as big of an underdog as she is, there's no way that I'm not putting that in any bet. Like I have to put Hannah Goldie in at least one or two bets just because We know the wrestling ability that she has, and if she's able to, as you said, similar to Jordan Levitt, if she's able to wet blanket Molly McCann for 3 rounds, I wouldn't be surprised as well. But I do think the little bit more of the experience is going to play into the factor. Home field advantage for Molly McCann as well. I think everything is kind of stacked for her to win, and I think she wins the decision.
Same, dude. Oddly enough, like that's how I feel. Like I wanna pick Hannah Goldie. I want to,
I do
but
too.
um I just she's kind of gotten beat up on the feet just a tad. And dude, if there's one thing that Molly McCann does, dude, she's got 2 meatballs attached on the end of her arms, dude, and she wings them suckers, dude. She is down to throw down no matter what. And dude, Hannah Goldie could get finished here if she gets called by some wild shit, dude. Who did we see like she fucking spin an elbow last? Who was it? Luana
Wasn't it like
Carolina.
Silva?
Like Luana
Never.
Carolina. And dude, she's pretty tough. She's bigger girl overall than Molly, dude. And she fucking spinning elbowed her in was it like the 3rd round too? Like it was like late in the fight.
Yeah, third round. It was brutal.
Yeah, fucking 3rd round. I should took a screenshot on my phone too for no reason. So sick. That's fantastic, dude. So Molly carries knockout power into the 3rd round, dude. It's like that's kind of odd to see, especially at women's like 125. Like you don't really see anyone have really knockout power at all, even. So that being said, Molly's the better striker. I gotta go. I have to go like the meatball here. I don't know if she gets Hannah Goldie out of there or not, but she could. I'm going Molly straight up. So we still have 2 different ones here. We got to have one more. Paul Craig taking on Vulcan. Vulcan. There it goes again. Vulcan.
Looking, looking
Vulcan.
Uzdemir.
Vulcan. Uzdemir here, dude. This is one that's tough for me because you of all people know, dude. If there was one No Time fan a few fucking years ago, dude, it was this guy right here. I was always telling you, like, Vulcan's going to do it. I actually think I probably
Dude, I'm
put.
telling you too. I was the same way.
I actually think I probably put $5 on him to beat fucking DC, dude, because I was like, dude, Rumble cracked the fuck out of DC, dude. Vulcan's got power, dude. If he hits him once, it's gonna be over. And then DC just crucifix the fuck out of him, dude. But fuck, dude. This is a tough one for me. I really don't know which way to go. I guess smart me says Paul Craig by decision, but something just tells me Vulcan's going to end up getting it done on the feet overall. I think that game last night had a big effect on my pick right now. You were just telling me how bad Paul Craig was on UFC 4, how bad he was, dude. And I'm like, bro, he's not that bad.
On the feet, he's bad. He's very
Exactly.
bad on the feet, dude. He's
Exactly.
so
What's the size
slow. It's
difference between
ridiculous.
them? They're both 6'2". They both
They're
got
about the same size.
the same reach, dude. This is probably the closest fight of the night for me, the hardest for me to pick. I'm gonna let you go first.
No, whoa,
Probably
wait,
gonna pick the opposite.
why
You
am
go
I picking
first.
first?
You go first. I'm gonna pick the opposite.
Wait, no, why can't you? No, you pick, because I know who I want to pick. I know
All
who I
right, so
want to pick.
you go first. I want to pick the opposite.
Oh man, man. Every time I've ever betted for him, he's always not came through for me. And then whenever I've gone against him, he's bitten me in the butt. And the last few times he's bitten me in the butt. And I don't want to let the opportunity pass again. I do think Volkan Oezdemir is very dangerous. He's got good hands, no time. I mean, he was that dude when he first came in the UFC, blasting Jimmy Manuwa. The way he did to earn the title shot and everything. He was getting everybody out of there in 3 seconds. I think it was Misha Serkinov he knocked out too. But Paul Craig's hot. he goes in there. He even, some of the best strikers, he's been able to somehow get on the ground and submit them in some type of way. I think he ends up doing the same thing to Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir is susceptible to being taken down, as we've seen. Anthony Smith has submitted him before. DC got him in the crucifix. I think Paul Craig has the submission skills to get it to the ground and get it done. So I think Paul Craig by submission, for me, for gambling, is going to be the play. If you want to spice it up a little bit, maybe deal with Paul Craig submission round 1 or 2.
I think that's smart, dude. That's the way I'm going. I'm going Paul Craig. There's no way I can pick Vulcan here.
Oh
You
my
convinced
gosh!
me. You convinced me, dude.
Oh my
There's
gosh!
I can't pick
I
Vulcan.
knew you were going to do that.
I can't pick Vulcan. I can't pick
Vulcan.
I can't pick Vulcan. I can't, dude.
Oh my gosh!
I'm so close to it. I'm so close to it because Paul Craig is not. He's not too good on the feet. But now you remind me of the Anthony Smith one, dude, and it's like Anthony Smith and him were roughly the same size. Like maybe Anthony was a little bit bigger too. I get, bro. It's going to end up on the ground. And every time I've bet Paul Craig by sub, dude, he wins by sub. Like why would I jump off now? Why would I jump off now, dude? I said he was going to sub Jamal Hill. I said he was going to sub Krylov.
Which I definitely didn't.
Yeah,
and I didn't think that either.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, so we'll get one more fucking different one here. The main event of the prelims is going to be Mason Jones taking on Ludovic Klein. Yeah, I don't really know too much about those two. Mark DeCasey taking on Damir Hadzovic, Nathaniel Wood, and Charles Rosa. This is a good one, dude. One to at least talk about if we don't pick different on. But Nathaniel Wood is a humongous favorite over Charles Rosa, man. How do you think this one goes, dude?
Nathaniel Wood, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he fought at bantamweight at one point, correct? Didn't he lose to for some reason I had in my mind that he lost to he lost to John Dodson by knockout. So I was really surprised to see him take a featherweight fight. But if you look at them size-wise, Charles Rose is going to have a pretty decent size advantage against against Nathaniel Wood. Overall, I think that Nathaniel Wood is going to be the better striker. I just want to see how he's going to be able to deal with Charles Rose's grappling. And dude, just for a gambling perspective, and honestly, just for a size perspective, because now that I just look, Nathaniel Wood's only 5'5". Give me Charles Rosa by decision. I think you can see a wrestling fest. I think he could definitely make it muddy, pull Nathaniel Wood into the deep water, and hold him there for all 3 rounds. It maybe not all 3 rounds, but I think there are moments where he ends up getting control, and I think enough control to ride off for the win.
I could for sure see that happening. I think this is one that we're going to pick different on. So Nathaniel Wood has only fought at bantamweight so far. So this is his first fight at 145. He's had one catchweight fight, so I assume it's probably like at 140, something like that, dude. But for some reason, dude, the odds makers clearly see something, dude. Like, because he's a massive fucking favorite. He is fast. He is quick on the feet. I don't know if his power is really going to transfer up to 145. But yeah, I like Nathaniel Wood here. I'm gonna ride with the favorite, so we can have a different pick and also close out our fucking third one, so we can have 3 different ones to give Dorian a chance to win this shiny beauty back right here. But because he
could have done it with 2, but
he hasn't seen this. He hasn't seen this in a while. He hasn't seen this in a few weeks. He hadn't seen this.
And when I come back for it, you can try to skip over the segment next week. You be like, I remember.
So next we got Makwan Amirkhani taking on Jonathan JSP Pierce. Dude, Amirkhani, a big underdog for fucking JSP Pierce, dude. Don't get me wrong, JSP Pierce is good. However, Makwan Amirkhani is also really fucking good too. I don't really see why the odds are so split here like that.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised, but it seems like all the all the ones that are kind of from London or from the UK in general seem to be having a significant odd
No,
swing in their favor.
like, but Jonathan Pierce is a US guy and he's a big favorite.
Oh, I thought you were saying that Amir Khani was the favorite.
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is surprising. Yeah, because Jonathan Pierce didn't
Yeah,
he lose to Joe Lozon by knockout?
he
Yeah,
got
didn't he?
knocked out by fucking Joe Lozon. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
JSP Pierce he's a good fighter. He's really grindy. It kind of reminds me of fucking Bryce Mitchell, just a tad, maybe like a little bit faster, tad bit better striking, not as good on the ground, but a good wrestler. And it's like, dude, Makwan Amirkhani's got pretty solid subs up his belt, yeah.
Yeah, he's got some pretty decent subs. He's got decent wrestling of his own. He's pretty good with implementing his wrestling against a lot of guys. So, yeah, that's why when you said I was just assuming that Makwan Amirkhani was the favorite just because, yeah, just because that. But no, that's actually surprising to see. And honestly, as far as a gambling perspective as well, that's a potential fight you might be able to look and maybe throw a little change towards as well. Maybe just like a straight bet or something.
Yeah, like fucking Makwan. Well, I think it was like last night. He was like plus two, like 280.
Oh wow.
Yeah, something like that. Like he was almost like 3-1. I was like, what the hell? But now, like fucking JSP Pierce is minus 200 to a plus 170 Makwan Americana. Yeah, so it is what it is. So, Muhammad Makayev taking on Charles Johnson, dude. Muhammad Makayev right now a minus 450 to plus 360 Charles Johnson, but Charles Johnson don't even have a picture on Google, man. So what does that tell you? Muhammad Makayev should really get this done rather easily. Yeah.
Yeah, Makai is a savage dude. He's one of those guys at 125, and he's definitely coming, and he's got super good wrestling. I think that he's a very well-rounded fighter, but I think that he's just been steamrolling his competition for the first couple fights that he's been in, and I think this one's going to turn out just the same. I think you can see a takedown and a submission. I think the only way you could win like some legit money on this one, because he's like a minus 500 favorite, maybe put him by submission on a couple of your parlays. But overall, yeah, Makayo's a savage.
Indeed, indeed. So Jai Herbert taking on Kyle Nelson, dude. Who you got there?
Dude, the line on that one is absolutely nuts as well. Have you seen how
Right
big of a favorite Jai Herbert is?
right now he's a minus 275 to the plus 230 Kyle Nelson. But I got to be honest, I really don't know much about Kyle Nelson.
I don't know much about Conor Nelson either, but I know that I think Jai Herbert's 1-3 in the UFC right now, and he came off that vicious knockout to Alir Tuporia. So I don't know if Jai Herbert really has much to write home about as far as being a 3-1 favorite. No, he definitely doesn't deserve to be damn near 3-1 favorite, but I do think stylistically overall it is set up for him to win. I just wouldn't feel comfortable putting any money towards it at all.
Fair enough. Mandy Bond taking on Victoria Leonardo. Don't really care too much. Claudio Silva and Nicholas Dalby, dude. I love me some Nicholas Dalby, dude. I don't know why he just kind of got this like karate stance. He's always bouncing. Just a exciting fighter overall to watch, and he's a big favorite over Claudio Silva. Who you got in that one?
Man, I think Dalby he tends to be he tends to get a lot more I guess recognition than what I guess I think that he deserves, just because I'm not going to say I'm not too aware of him. I do know that back in the day he had to draw against Darren Till, and that's what everybody over in the UK kind of upholds him for, is to take Darren Till the distance at that time. But I do think Claudio Silva, gambler perspective, man, I mean, he's got some submission to his name in the UFC. He's very capable of sneaking that out, and honestly, just just for the hell of it, I'm probably gonna throw some money towards that too. I think Claudio Silva can actually sneak out a sub.
Fair enough. I got Nicholas Dalby there. I think his karate style is going to be too much for Claudio Silva. So, if one fight falls out, we got a fourth one, just the insert there, just in case. So I'm going Nicholas Dalby. Dorian's going Claudio Silva there. And then our other three, that is our alternate. And then our other three is going to be Nathaniel Wood, Charles Rosa. Dorian is going Charles Rosa. I'm going Nathaniel Wood. Got to rock with the favorite there. Dorian is going Chris Curtis. I'm going Jack the Joker Hermanson. And then the Nikita Krillov versus Alexander Gustafsson. I am taking Alexander Gustafsson. Dorian is taking Nikita Krillov. Those are our 4 different fights that we pick different on. We almost had 5, but you swayed my opinion, dude. You swayed my opinion on the Volkan Oezdemir and Paul Craig fight, dude. But congratulations to you for that. Let's see if you can win this beautiful shiny gold strap back this upcoming week. But from that is all from us here at the Golden Octagon. Remember, if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, come on now, help us out. Thumbs ups, comments below. We always appreciate them. We reply, we respond, all that good stuff. Help us out here. Anything before we get out of here, man?
Peace, love. Good to be back. Coming back for the title, baby.
All right. That is all from us. I'm Matt Anderson. Throw your nose on that side. This is the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.